BTS News Today.as The world watched one by one BTS members undergo their military service. Not a few thought about how the relationship between the members would change. One of the most noted and often discussed by the army around the world is the relationship between Jimin and JungKook, who is widely known as Jikook. Their closeness is nothing new, but the changes that have taken place since the two entered military service have brought unexpected new colors. Separated by different task forces, they can no longer be seen together as they once were. However, instead of dimming, their relationship actually steals attention because it is considered increasingly strange, mysterious, and full of implied meaning. Army began to notice something strange from the first week of their separation. JungKook, who is usually quite open in community messages or official social media, suddenly became very quiet. Jimin, on the other hand, does the exact opposite, posting lyrics to sad songs, ambiguous words, and even talking about someone who is sorely missed without ever mentioning their name. These posts invite wild speculation, especially from fans who have been following the emotional dynamic between the two for a long time. Some armies even compiled secret timelines of all their interactions before and after military service began, and the results were astonishing. Their intensity actually increased emotionally even though they could no longer physically be by their side. The most striking is JungKook's change in behavior. In the few rare occasions where he was seen, his facial expression appeared to be different. There are nuances of longing that cannot be hidden. Even his barracks mates once leaked by accident that JungKook often plays BTS songs that have a strong connection to their past, especially songs whose lyrics were written by Jimin. This sparked a wave of analysis from international fans, who tried to unravel what really happened between the two. Meanwhile, Jimin also surprised the public. In an interview before the official duty, he mentioned that leaving someone is the hardest thing in his life. When asked who he meant, Jimin just smiled and turned the conversation. However, for ARMY, who had long understood Jimin's gestures and manner of communication, the smile was a sign. Something that is not spoken directly, but feels clear and touching. Another curious incident occurred when fans began to notice each other's military activities. Jimin was placed in a different division that focused more on administrative duties and basic training, while JungKook, who was known to be more athletic, was instead sent to a more remote barracks and rarely exposed to the media. Many speculate that this separation was not accidental. Some army even believe that this separation is a form of protection against the intensity of their relationship that may be too close and become a public concern. However, what caused more excitement was the unexpected incident that occurred 3 weeks after the two were separated. An anonymous military officer leaked that one BTS member had made a special request to meet fellow members at a different unit because of personal issues that affect emotional stability. Although the name was not mentioned, many immediately speculated that it was JungKook, as the changes in his behavior became more and more noticeable. He began to be more quiet, closed, and even had time to withdraw from some volunteer activities that he usually liked. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Jimin seems to be getting stronger emotionally, but in his own way. He began writing a daily journal of meaningful poems, which were then sent to HYBE's staff for release as works of art. One of the most touching poems is entitled "Your Shadow Behind the Military Fence," which talks about a person who used to always be by his side, but now can only be remembered through shadow and memory. The army immediately linked him to JungKook. Speculation after speculation also sprang up. Do the two have a deeper emotional bond than just friendship? Does this separation actually open up another side of their relationship that has not been seen publicly? Even the South Korean media began to speak up, with some gossip portals starting to highlight Jikook's changing behavior since entering the military. While there's no official confirmation, the subtle movement between their words, expressions, and actions adds to the mystery and reinforces fans' belief that something very real is going on. In a military context, emotions such as longing, attachment, and isolation have enormous effects. Military psychologists claim that when two emotionally close individuals are separated, there are two possibilities. They move away and build a new distance, or they just get tighter and tighter in an inner space that no one can touch. And in the case of Jikook, it seems that what happened was the second. They may not be able to meet in person, but all their actions reflect a relationship that cannot be broken by distance and time. The climax occurred when Jimin sent an open letter to the army that HYB released. In the letter, he mentioned that he was going through the biggest introspection process of his life. He learns to recognize love, loss, and acceptance in different ways. While the letter appeared to be aimed at fans, many felt that much of its content was for someone very specific. A few lines like, "I know you're reading this in the distance, and I wish you well," or "We may not be able to walk side by side for now, but I still see you in my dreams," reinforce that assumption. JungKook finally sends a voice message through Weverse that makes ARMY cry. In the message, his voice sounded heavy, like he was holding back tears. He said, "I have a lot to say, but maybe it's not time yet. It's just, I hope this time doesn't make us change. I believe you still are." Again, no names, but the emotional tone is so deep, so personal. Many believe the message was a reply to Jimin's letter. This invites a wave of emotion from the army around the world. Hashtags like #Jikook Soulmates, #Stay Strong Jikook, and #Jikook in the military are trending on social media. Fans began creating artwork, video edits, and even letters of support for the duo. Some fans even sent letters to HYB's office so that they could be given the opportunity to meet inside the military unit, even if only in official moments. Relationship analysts among fans also began to discuss the psychological dynamics of both. They called Jikook's relationship a reflection of complementary contrasts. Jimin, who is calm, reflective, and full of emotion, meets JungKook, who is spontaneous, protective, and full of intensity. The combination of these two different personalities creates something unusual. And so, when they are separated, those emotions actually grow because there is no outlet to channel them directly. And from this comes the impression that their relationship is getting strange. It is not strange in a negative sense, but strange in the sense that the closeness that is established actually grows in silence, in an untouchable distance. It was a space that only the two of them could enter. No cameras, no media, no audience. Just them and the memories that live on. Their separation in the military could have been considered a test, but for Jikook, it became a space to rediscover each other in a deeper form. No longer in front of the stage, no longer behind the scenes of reality shows, but in the most real silence. The silence of soldiers who stand guard in the middle of the night or in a silent prayer before going to bed. Now, the public can only wait. Waiting for the time when both of them finish their service and return to the world full of highlights. However, one thing is certain. Their relationship has passed the test of time and distance. And of all the oddities, something very real is implied. Something that may never be explained directly, but will always be felt in the hearts of those who truly understand who Jimin is, who JungKook is, and what Jikook is. Perhaps that is love in its purest form, love that does not need recognition, but continues to live in silence.